Good evening. Welcome to Friendship and the Grand March Through Life. It's good to have you here this evening after a very exciting and provocative hour and a half on Galveston Night Talk. My name is James Huey, and I'm the facilitator of the Friendship Personal Retreat Program here in Galveston and on ships cruising seas throughout the world. We try to offer the gift of listening hospitality, and I invite you to join me here on KGBC this evening, Friendship Radio for Southeast Texas, as we explore topics to enrich the quality of your life. Power for positive living and friendship. Hey, Landers, I'm in my 40s. I have a healthy, bright, delightful little girl, challenging career, good friends, and a lovely home. But I'm a terrible disappointment to my mother, a failure in life because I'm divorced. My mother talks constantly about my ex-husband and his new wife. She asks my daughter loaded questions and reports back to me on her answers. She clips articles that focus on the destructive effects of divorce on children and assists on asking the same old question: what went wrong with your marriage? When I tell her I don't want to talk about the divorce or my ex anymore, she tells me I need therapy because, quote, after 4 years, it should not be painful to discuss, unquote. What can I do to keep her from battering my self-esteem? Signed, Arlington, Virginia. I really like Ann's reaction and comment. Dear Virginia, there is nothing you can do about your mother, but you can do a lot about yourself. For starters, stop being a victim. We in personal growth, we spend a lot of time encouraging people to take responsibility for their lives, take responsibility for their feelings, their attitudes, their values, their opinions. And yet, so often people are looking for, how can I change someone else? How can I make them be more responsive to meet my needs? How can I make them stop doing this or start doing that? The reality is, and it's one of the messages that probably can never be repeated too often as we go about our own personal psychological growth, is that there's nothing you can do about other people and changing their behavior to fit your needs. What there is, and where the key responsibility is that you can do a lot about your own behavior. And in this particular case, stop being a victim. I guess as I read it, one of the things that jumped out of me was the statement like, if I tell you that I don't want to talk about something, and I have run into individuals like this mother who say, well, you probably need therapy because, after all, according to my standards, you should be willing to do this or that. Now, who's doing the defining here? One of the real parameters and one of the real challenges of personal growth is being able to do your own definitions, set your own parameters, being able to decide to yourself what is appropriate. After all, it's your life. It's your health. These are your feelings. Why in the world do you give the power to other people to define? I'm not sure whether many of you have the opportunity to read a comic strip known as Andy Capp, but I will share a strip from this last week because it effectively dovetails with what we've just been discussing, taking responsibility for one's own life model. In the Andy Capp series, there are two characters, Flo, who is the wife, and of course, Andy, who is the husband. In the first panel, Flo is sitting there with a sad look on her face. The second panel, Andy speaks to Flo and says, look, Flo, you say you're unhappy and you think marriage guidance can help. Well, that's fair enough. I'm all for it. Third panel. He says, but there is no point in me coming. I'm perfectly happy. How often in the days of marriage counseling, there would be one spouse who will come and say, how can I get my spouse in for counseling? How can I get my spouse in to do this or do that? Basically, marriage counseling works when both members of a relationship recognize that the relationship can be stronger or richer or healthier, or that there is something that can be made more healthy or more strong. But it does not necessarily mean that because one person sees the difficulty that the other person does. This cartoon panel just demonstrates so effectively the realization that we are only responsible and can only be responsible for those kinds of activities and feelings which we do. If I'm unhappy in my relationship, whether it's with a marriage, or whether it's with a friend, or whether it's with an employer, or whether it's with anyone else, then if I am sitting and waiting for that person to recognize that I'm unhappy and to do something about my unhappiness, then I, like many people, will spend a great deal of my life waiting. I'll be waiting for someone else to respond to my needs. What should be Flo's choice here? Well, if it wasn't for the fact that this exercise goes on, and I think Flo has some difficulties in constantly being a victim, but that's another point of view. Flo has a choice of either continuing to accept Andy's behavior because Andy's happy. I mean, after all, why shouldn't he be if you read the comic strip? Andy is one whose wife works. He has his money provided by her. He's able to do the fun things that he likes to do. He has no need to accept responsibility. And yet so many of us still, I believe, have a childhood story belief that if we can just change the world, it can be very much like the happy time stories. Life is exciting. Life is an adventure. Life is wonderful. But at the same time, it will be that way if we take the responsibility for making it so. I do hope this program and the programs that we do each Thursday night do provide a valuable resource as you write your life novel. And I do believe that each of us does write our life novel, and you are in the process of writing yours right now. So join me again here on Wellness Radio for Southeast Texas as we continue to explore topics each Thursday evening to enrich the quality of your life. Power for positive living and friendship. Good night.